This is how to make a standard quality crystal clear dishwashing liquid soap with enhanced foaming power for commercial purpose and for personal use, and it's cost effective. This is super good for business. So if you're interested, all you have to do is to watch this video to the end. Now, without wasting much of your time, let's get down to business. Hi friend, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. In this video today, I'll be showing you how to make quality transparent dishwashing liquid soap. And to make this, here are all the requirements. I'll be making 15 liters of dishwashing liquid soap, and the first ingredient I have here is caustic soda. Now for the caustic soda, I'll be making use of 25 grams, and I'll dissolve it in 500 ml of water, and 500 ml of water is equal to half liter of water. Now you're going to pour the water in a bowl, and after that go in with your caustic soda. Pour the caustic soda, stir to dissolve, and after that you can move on to the next step. And for the next step, we'll be needing 2.5 liters of water. Pour the water into a mixing bowl, and after that we'll be needing the second ingredient. And the second ingredient I have here is sodium lauryl sulfate, also known as SLS rice. I'll be using 350 grams of SLS rice. Pour the SLS rice into the water and stir to dissolve. Please do not leave it to dissolve on its own. And after that, you can set it aside and allow it to settle until you have a clear translucent solution. Now moving on to the next step, the next ingredient you need is sulphonic acid, and I'll be using 170 grams of sulphonic acid. Now, if you're one of my students, I know by now you'll be wondering why I will be using just this amount of sulphonic acid and caustic soda for 15 liters of dishwashing liquid soap, but just pay close attention. I will explain in details before the end of this video. Now moving on, we're going to dissolve this sulphonic acid. Now it's important to note that sulphonic acid is a surfactant agent and also a pH adjusting agent, and is also a foaming agent. Now being that this is a surfactant agent, once it comes in contact with water, it starts to thicken up. So to dissolve it, it might take a long time to dissolve with just your spatula. So I would advise you to use a whisk or a stick blender to properly mix this well. But if you have just your spatula, just go on and mix until you have it mixed properly, or you can start adding the water bit by bit until you properly dissolve it. Now the quantity of water we're using to dissolve sulphonic acid is 1.5 liters, which is equal to 1.5 liters of water. So pour all the water, stir, and then set it aside, and then we can move on to the main production. So this is exactly what it looks like after dissolving it. So now it's time to make our soap. Now for the main production, get a big mixing bowl and then go in with 700 grams of Texapon. Texapon is also known as SLUES, sodium lauryl sulfate. And also the next ingredient you need is sodium sulfate. You can use sodium sulfate or sodium chloride, which is our normal table salt. Now at this stage, you can either stir up the sodium sulfate and Texapon to dissolve it before adding water, or you can just go in with water. Now adding water before mixing this might take a long time to properly dissolve the Texapon, unless you're using a stick blender or you have all the time to properly dissolve it with your whisk. You can't actually dissolve this with just spatula. You're either using a stick blender, a hand whisk, or you're using your mixer to dissolve this, because it's going to take a little time. So if you don't have the patience, please dissolve the sodium sulfate and Texapon together before adding water. Now when you mix it up, stir properly well, and after that it will look exactly like this. Now once you're sure that there are no lumps, because if you don't get to dissolve the lumps properly at this stage, once you start adding water, it will be difficult to dissolve it, and after production you're going to see that lumps in your product. That can actually affect the quality of your product, considering that Texapon is a foaming agent and also a surfactant agent. So if you don't have the right measurements in your product, that means it's going to reduce the quality of your product. So you don't want it to be lumpy, because when it's lumpy, you will strain it out, and that means you're losing out. So just make sure to dissolve it before adding water, or any way you can, just properly dissolve your Texapon. Now add water bit by bit until you get this consistency. I used up to 3 liters of water to get this consistency. Now the next thing I'm adding here is the SLS solution that we dissolved earlier. So this is just a mixture of the SLS rice and water. So pour it and then mix it up. Now at this point, I know you're already wondering when I'm going to add nitrosol. We're not using nitrosol in this formula, which is the reason we're using more of surfactant agents to create enough viscosity. So that's it. But it's totally optional. You can add nitrosol if you want to add. Now, just in case you want to add nitrosol, all you have to do is dissolve the Texapon and sodium sulfate separately, and then in another bowl, pour the remaining water and then dissolve your nitrosol into the water. Then you can start adding the following ingredients according to how you're seeing it in the video. So that's it. Now go on and add water. After adding the SLS solution, stir up and then add the remaining part of the water, just as you're seeing it in the video. Now mix it up, and then you can go in with the next solution, which is a sulphonic acid solution. Now earlier I said I'll be explaining why I used just 25 grams of caustic soda and 170 grams of sulphonic acid. Now using this formula, most people do not use caustic soda and sulphonic acid. Now some of these people believe that not adding caustic soda and sulphonic acid will help them to maintain the pH, but that is totally incorrect. Before I proceed, the next thing to add is your lye solution, which is the dissolved caustic soda. So pour it and mix it up. Now it's important to understand that these are all raw chemicals, and if you think that not adding caustic soda and sulphonic acid will help you to maintain a neutral pH, you are totally wrong. Have you ever checked the pH rate of SLS? Now knowing the pH rate of SLS, although it all depends on its concentration in water, a 1% aqueous solution of SLS has a pH of around 7 to 8.5, right? And a more concentrated solution can have a pH of around 9 to 10, which means SLS is slightly alkaline. And if you use it to make your product without adding any pH buffering agent, it will be very harsh on the skin, especially for dishwashing soap. Now we all know that the skin natural pH is between 4 to 5.5. So anything lower than that can affect the skin natural pH by causing dryness, irritation, and sensitivity. So please, when using this type of formula, make sure to add pH buffering agent. Now I know I'll get questions like, if SLS is slightly alkaline, why do we still have need of adding caustic soda in our soap? Now adding caustic soda in your soap is not just about it serving as an alkaline agent to adjust pH. It also serves as a stabilizing agent that helps to stabilize the base of your soap and also stabilize other ingredients in your soap. Now not just that, it also helps to saponify oils and fats, especially if you make your liquid soap without adding any grease cutting agent, mostly dishwashing liquid soap. So that makes it an essential ingredient. Now moving on, after adding the cocomide, mix it well, and then the next thing to add is your perfume, which is your fragrance. Now, being that we did not use any solid thickener for this, avoid pouring the fragrance into the product direct. So we're going to fetch a little bit of the soap, pour it in a cup, and then mix your fragrance first with the soap before pouring it into the main product. And that's exactly what I'm doing in the video, so just pay close attention to see what I'm doing. And after adding the fragrance, you can go on and add the following ingredients. So in that case, I'll say when making your liquid soap using this type of formula, just make sure you adjust the pH, because these are all raw chemicals and there's no way you're making a formulation with this type of ingredients without using those buffering agents to adjust the pH. Now another thing you should know is that all these chemicals works with percentage. So if you're making liquid soap and you don't know the percentage of the ingredients you're using, that means you're just following any method you're seeing online, right? And some people are really not transparent with teaching, which means if you're not careful enough, you might be using the wrong formula, being that they might not actually put out all the information. Now, this is an edited video, which means I can cut off some places, and then whatever I say in the video, you're going to believe it because you are not there with me. So it's important to get a proper training, which I run an online training where I teach people how to make quality liquid soap. So if you are not one of my students yet, please do well to register so as to get a proper training on how to formulate a quality liquid soap with the right ingredients and formula. So that's it. Now the next ingredient I added here is glycerin. So add the glycerin, mix it, and that's it. So the next thing you're going to add is your color and preservative. Now this formula is cost effective. Now for example, let's say we're to use the exact percentage of sulphonic acid for this 15 liters. That means we'll be using up to 500 to 1000 ml of sulphonic acid, and caustic soda will be using up to 100 plus grams of caustic soda, and also the thickener will be using up to same amount, around 100 plus, which means if you're to plus all this, you'll be spending more. So this is just a way to maximize profit. So that's it. Now the next thing I'm adding now is preservative, and I'm using methyl paraben. So all you need to do is to dissolve your preservative in water, and after that pour it, mix it up, and then you can add your color, and voila. This formula will actually help you to maximize profit, right? So that's it. That's why I think most people use this formula, and being that using this formula helps to create more clarity, to make your product to look very clear and transparent. And also another reason I think they like using this formula to make their liquid soap is that it's easier. So that's it. But just in case you need a proper training, like I said earlier, you can just send us a DM on WhatsApp. We run different package every month, and we just finished with April batch, and our next batch is by May. So if you want to join the May batch, just do well to send us DM now on WhatsApp. Now this is after mixing and checking the pH. You can see the pH here. So this is neutral, and that's exactly how it should be. Now at this point, all you have to do is to go ahead and add your color, and after adding your color, mix it well. Now moving on, after making your soap, add your glycerin, your fragrance, your preservative, and your color, just as I've seen it in the video. After adding all these ingredients, just go on and mix it well. After mixing, it will look exactly like this depending on the color you're using. And when you're done with that, you can just cover it and allow it to settle, and this will take about 24 hours to 48 hours. Now it all depends on the consistency. If your liquid soap is too thick, it's going to take about 24 to 48 hours to settle. So just cover it and leave it to settle, and after 24 hours, this is the end result. This really turned out really beautiful, and I love it. So you can see how clear and how transparent this soap is looking. Just take a look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Honestly, if you're into liquid soap business and you're finding it hard now to make profits due to the increment in prices of all these chemicals, just try this formula. This is super good and durable, honestly. So that's it. And this particular one, I made it for a customer. I'm not going to package it in bottles. I'm just going to pour it in a gallon, and I'll supply it like that. So that's it. This is me filling the gallon, and honestly, I love everything about this soap, and it's so foamy. This formula is so good. The soap is so foamy, so that means you can make it for commercial purpose. So friend, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Gift, and I'm super excited to have you here. please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also turn on your notification bell so that you'll be the first to watch my next video. And at the end of this video, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and don't also forget to share this video to your friends. And now to my beautiful, wonderful and amazing gift team, I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here and God bless you. Just don't forget to make your video requests. If you have any video request, leave it under this under the comment of this video and I'll go through it. So friend, I'll see you on my next video, but before then, stay blessed and keep loving one another. Bye.